Are you ready to grind? It's Sports 56 Grind Time with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane. Now, here's Peter and Anthony.
All right. We're here for Sports 56 Grind Time. For Anthony Sane and Peter Edmiston. Got Darian across the glass from me. We rocking and rolling, doing what we do. It's a beautiful Friday here in Memphis, Tennessee. The weather
Happy Friday, man.
Yeah, the weather's great. The weather's great outside. It looks like it's about to do something out there, though. Like it's about to rain or something maybe later on. It's raining a little bit. I've seen evidence of rain over the last 24 hours, but I haven't actually seen rain. Yeah, have you been out in the rain today?
Nope, not at all. It's just been wet. I don't know when it's rained, but it's just been wet.
Yeah, I woke up to wetness everywhere. And I drove in some wetness, but I haven't actually seen the rain at all today. But it definitely was raining inside of the FedEx Forum last night. I could hear the thundering sound of Lakers jerseys hitting the garbage can after the game last night. I don't know if you heard that at all.
I saw some pretty good pictures. I saw a picture of a fan leaving, totally Lakered out and had Grizzly gear, and the person circled the Grizzly gear like, welcome to the club.
When y'all were talking yesterday, when Peter and Rob Fisher were talking yesterday about the whole thing about do you care about, Laker fans coming to the arena and doing that, and Peter was like, oh, I don't care, it's good. I was like, no, I care. Like, I can't freaking stand it. Memphis is a fair weather, front-running city, man, and it's like, bro, the Grizzlies have been here 20 years. And I was explaining this to a guy from Chicago. He was like, I don't understand why. He's like, man, I'm not from here. But when I moved here and got kind of ingrained into the city, I started loving the local teams here, whether it's Tiger basketball, the Grizzlies. He was like, he said, I still give my allegiance to the Bulls. He was like, man, but you guys have a team here. Like, I don't have any desire to be a Bulls fan here in Memphis. And he just talked about that. And we just talked about, those type of things and how Memphis doesn't really get it. But, like, when these teams come, man, like when – It's not a team thing. It's a player thing. When LeBron comes to town, Steph Curry, all those guys over time, when they come, people come out for it. But the Grizzlies were victorious last night. I was dropping Gabe off at home to his mom at the Taekwondo Thursday, and I was letting him out of the door, his door, when Desmond Bain hit the three to put us up, I think 13, with like a minute to go or something like that. And Gabe got the car, jumped up and down. Because I think he could feel his dad's screw you Lakers energy that was coming through hard.
Hey,
my
Russell.
friend Peter Edmiston joins us. Peter, what's going on?
Yes, indeed.
Hey,
we had a little technical difficulty.
No, it's all good.
We're good to go.
We get through it.
Everything's good, man.
Hey,
we appreciate it. Glad to be here. Yeah, it was Taekwondo Thursday.
Yeah.
So I know you were sad to miss that game down at FedEx Forum, but what I
never go.
What a spectacular performance again, and it's another terrific defensive performance against a pretty well full strength Laker team, who had LeBron and AD and Russell Westbrook, and just didn't matter. The Grizzlies tore away in the second quarter and then kind of cruised after that and kept a pretty stout lead throughout. Man, another big time night for Desmond Bain, another big time night for Tripp, Jaren Jackson Jr. No Dylan Brooks, who joins John Morant out on the old quarantine list, but. Hey man, what they've been able to do without is incredible, and this is another example of it, man. We're going to talk about it coming up. We got our buddy Adam Kramer, who I believe is good to go. I'm excited about that because we've been trying our best to get Kramer in the mix, and finally, I think we're able to after a whole bunch of issues. So we're good. I'm going to talk to Adam Kramer. We're going to talk to Kari Thompson. We got a lot to get to here in the Family Leisure Studios. You could join us here on the AutoZone listener line. Get in the zone, AutoZone. I think they appreciate when I do that.
Yeah, they do.
So. I think
I know I do.
Feel like I feel like they do. The AutoZone listener line is 360-8255. That spells out talk for those of you that like to spell out your numbers.
What?
360-TALK. 36 I like to call this the we don't bluff line because it's 3-6, no talk. You know what I mean? Like it's all action. Talk. You know what I mean? So rather than 3-6, no talk, all action. It's the all action hotline right here. That's to you, Bone Thugs. Okay, no talk, all action, right there.
Knife talk.
Did Busy Bone? How's he doing? Did he get? He didn't get got or anything, did he?
No, he put a video out breaking down why he went off and all that type of stuff. But you know what? I saw a video about him. It wasn't by him. It was by some other person that was breaking him down. And the lady was saying that he was biracial, and he got picked on a lot as a kid because he was biracial within his own family, and that he was molested by somebody. And it was like that particular word from Juicy J might have triggered him more than we're giving him grace for. But it was.
Well, I think that's usually how it works. I try my best to be, that's one of the things I've worked on in my life is to try to give people as much grace as you can and assume that there's some reason, like if somebody's driving really fast, just say, oh, they probably got, they got diarrhea or they got to get somewhere fast. Right. Trying to look on the nicest possible explanation for why somebody's acting like that. I can't always do it, but I think it's a good thing to do. Busy Bone, aka Lil Ripsta. I didn't realize he was aka Lil Ripsta. Learn something new every day.
You ever do?
So,
it's just like me. I get triggered by when I go to Grizzlies games and it's a road game. I get triggered by it. So, yesterday was Taekwondo Thursday, but I wasn't going to the game regardless. Like, I don't. It does something to me.
You don't like that.
It does something to me for real though. Like, so I just avoid it. I just don't go. Like when I see all these.
You don't like when somebody gets your name. When somebody gets your name wrong, you don't like that. That triggers you. Yeah, that triggers you.
Yeah, you play around with.
If I ask, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I don't
ask, "Are you okay?" You get mad about that too.
No, you get one. You get one time to ask me. Don't do the "Are you sure?" Hit me with the "Are you sure?" We gonna get the fight, man, for real.
All right, so we're gonna talk about all that coming up here in just a little bit. Now, as we said last night, the Lakers fans, and there obviously were a big chunk of them, and I'm with Fish was on yesterday with us, and I tend to agree with Fish as far as giving them some grace. Like, there's a lot of people that I know that were Laker fans, long before the Grizzlies came to Memphis. I remember, a lot of Celtics fans because they were so hot in the 80s with Larry Bird and Kevin McHale and all those guys. I remember, when I was a kid going to the grocery store and there was a mustachioed janitor guy that I got to know because we went to the same grocery store. It was right outside of school, every few days or so, a couple times a week. Grabbing something for the way home, and he was a big Celtics fan named Clarence. Got him Clarence. And I was talking to Clarence about the Celtics and all that stuff. So I get it. Like you was before the Grizzlies were here. You were a big fan. I understand that. So that's some of them.
Peter, that's poppy.
Some of
that's pure poppycock.
Some of them.
Not really, because I'm the person that Peter's talking to. So,
It's
Peter,
pure
I have a
poppycock.
question for you. So, I'm that Laker fan. Like I told you guys, about 17 years ago, I got married. I had a Laker cake and a San Francisco 49er cake. The wife knows my affection. So, am I wrong for having my kids to be Laker fans? That's the question. Should the youth be risen up to be Grizzlies, or should they be
born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee?
So they should be Grizzlies and not Lakers.
Be risen up.
That's the question, because you're not going to
rise up.
But what's crazy is I was actually rooting for the Grizzlies last night. Shame on me, but hey.
But I'll say this: I'm not going to tell Darren how to think. It's definitely going to tell him how to raise his kids.
No, that ain't a raised kid, bro. Uncle Anthony Balky can give me some suggestions on that. Come on.
But the thing with that is there are also people who say that whole, I've been a Lakers fan since Magic. They do that thing.
I understand those folks.
No, let me finish. Like, those people they exist. I get that. But that same energy ain't there when the Lakers are trash. Like, it's a bandwagon thing. When the Lakers are good, they show up and they're doing all this talking, but they're not. Because I know you're a diehard 49er fan. Regardless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Shout out to Samaki Walker and Kareem Rush.
Exactly. Like, these dudes, they use that as a crutch to say, yeah, I've been a Laker fan since Magic. No, you haven't, bro. You were not no fan during the lean years. Like, you were doing whatever you were doing during the lean years, and now that they got this team with all these legends and Hall of Famers on. Oh yeah, man, yeah, I go back since Magic. Yeah, Magic wasn't playing last night though.
No, he wasn't. Peter, who was your team as a child? Who do you have a youthful affection for?
No, I was more of a fan of players. So Penny was my guy.
Penny.
So
you didn't have a team?
I loved watching. I liked watching the NBA, and I loved watching Michael Jordan and all that stuff. When I was when I was 9, 10, 11 years old and all that. I was right in the middle of the Jordan era, all that. So, yeah, I watched but like as far as the team goes, like I wasn't a Bulls – I didn't feel like I was a Bulls fan or anything like that. I just loved to watch all that stuff. I loved to watch, when Charles Barkley was doing his thing. I loved to watch Barkley when I loved Hakeem Olajuwon. I was a big Hakeem Olajuwon fan. So, I like to watch him. Man, all these guys. Like I enjoyed those guys. So, like, I wouldn't consider myself like a big, quote unquote, like team fan until, but I always loved basketball. Like I always enjoyed watching. I always loved being part of it. So that part was cool. Like I always enjoyed that.
I think my path
that's what I would say.
I think my path is a lot like yours. Cause this is something people our age, me, you and Darian, all about the same age. It's something we kind of forget is that we didn't have the television options.
No, it was Hannah Storm. It was Bob Costas.
No. We had TBS that showed the Hawks, and we had WGN that showed the Bulls.
I didn't have cable. I had Channel 5 on Sunday, man, after church.
Exactly. That's
after church, man.
But you know what I'm saying, though? Like, as far as cable goes, you had the Bulls games on WGN, and you had the Hawks games on TBS. And you were a Bulls fan because Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan. So I grew up cheering for the Bulls, of course. When Penny Hardaway came on the scene, I was an Orlando Magic fan. And then when Michael Jordan left the league, I rode with Scottie Pippen pretty much wherever he went. I love that Blazers team that had Scottie Pippen, Rasheed Wallace, that Jail Blazers team.
Steve Smith, Damon Stoudemire.
Yeah, I love Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and KG on the respective teams that they played for. When they got together, I was pulling for them. But man, when the Grizzlies got here, I didn't care. Like,
shout out to Smush.
Well, I mean, to go back to your original question though, before we talk about the game last night, I will say that I think there is I do think there's an obligation to some degree to ground your kids where you are from, and so like I think that's part of it. I think part of being if you're raising them in this area. I think part of that is that you kind of want to have them support some of the teams that are in this area.
Right.
Like, my kids like to watch the Tigers, and the kids like to watch the Grizzlies, and and then my wife is an Arkansas fan. I'm a Tennessee fan, so like we kind of lean in that direction. But like that they're exposed to that stuff. So like I kind of think it's important for them to have that connection to where they are. So, Darren, I would say it's fine for your kids to be whatever fan you want them to be, but I do think you kind of have to.
Now the rebuttal to that, Peter, is they do push back. They are Grizzly fans. I said try. Now my kids have their own mind. I'm not one of those guys. Laker or get out my house. They absolutely love Zebo and the whole nine, the Tony Allens of the world. I tried to make them Laker fans. I didn't finish that part. They're not. They're actually Grizzly fans. But I tried.
That's the thing. I mean, as long as you're like, I don't know, it's like it's not a big deal, but it's just something like I think it's important to have some connection to your community. So that's what I would say. Local. Try to stay local to whatever degree that
support Bunsey, baby.
As far as the Grizzlies go last night, though, again, man, the level of energy and effort and intensity that this team plays with is just. It's really impressive. Like, that the thing that I would always talk to people about before we talk about specifics of players and stuff. I think this is one of the impacts of Taylor Jenkins. There's a lot of issues that Taylor Jenkins has. There's a lot of issues that you could have with his rotations, with some of the decisions that he makes about playing guys in certain minutes, emphasizing certain things. I think those are all fair criticisms to make. I do think, though, that you have to give him credit for the fact that not only is the team they play with a ton of energy, generally speaking, they also seem to be mostly ready when guys are called upon, in the deep bench situation. Like when you throw in a Jarrett Culver who hadn't played at all, and guy looks like he's ready to play, and Killian Tilly looks like he's ready to play. That I got to give them credit for that because I think that's part of their preparation. Guys seem to be locked in even when they're not part of the rotation. So I give them credit. Not every team in the NBA plays as hard as the Grizzlies do.
Oh yeah,
on a regular basis. Like they played pretty hard. Since for the last month or so, they pretty much every night they've brought it.
Yeah, like you said, I was
pretty much.
I wasn't able to watch the game. It was Taekwondo Thursday going on. But as I was seeing like the rundown thing where it shows like, you know, the play-by-play thing on the app or whatever, and I'm seeing Jared Culver. I'm like, bro, what in the world? You know what I mean? Like, and that is a testament to Coach Jenkins. It has to be that these guys are prepared, that he trusts these guys, and that they're keeping guys ready, even though they're not particularly playing. It also has to give a shout out to whatever they're doing with the hustle. You know what I mean? There has to be some type of continuity where guys are, you know, are able to go from that system and then they're ready to play. Like they said that Santi Aldama's doing well with the hustle. And they noticed that he was doing well, so they were able to plug him in, and he, you know, came in doing well. So you definitely have to give that whole organization props from top to bottom for guys like, you know, those guys like Culver, those type of guys being available and being able to play. It's crazy, and it's really remarkable to see that version of the Grizzlies was able to do that to the Lakers last night.
Right on. Brevin Knight stated that on the broadcast too last night, fellas. To stay ready. Tony Allen used to tell his team to stay ready, and the Grizzlies were. They definitely were.
Yeah, it's easier. It's one of those things that's easy to say. Everybody says it. But, you know, can you actually do it? And can you see guys that actually can come in and be productive in those minutes? And, you know, that's a whole different thing, and not everybody is able to do that. But if you look last night, again, Jarrett Culver comes off the bench, was, you know, a plus 13, 8 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, a block, 4 of 6 from the field, played 16 really productive minutes off the deep bench. Xavier Tillman had his best game of the year after really, you know, struggling. We talked about that yesterday, but he was much more engaged. Kyle Anderson had been hurt for much of the year, and he's come back and you know, he played pretty well in his minutes. Killian Tilly, it's you wouldn't expect, you know, Conchar, Culver, Tilly, you know, Aldama, these types of guys to, like, you know, be as productive as they have been. And then, you know, you look at Desmond Bane and, like, you know, the secret is out on Desmond Bane. Like, you know, he's getting the attention that he deserves, but he deserves it. Like, he's played so well. Like, he's been so impressive over the last month or so. And the guy's just he's already, to me, Anthony, he's already taken that jump from, like, you know, solid starter to, like, okay, this guy could actually be like a above average starter in the league, like a guy that you could look at as a maybe in best case scenario, like a big time third option on a team,
yeah, for sure.
But certainly a fourth option on a really good team, which is, those are the kind of guys that you win championships because you have, and there's not that many of those guys floating around.
I saw a lot of people that have been hitting me up saying, you know, I think, you know, is he an all-star level player, things like that. I'm like, man, just the fact that you can bring it up in conversation is dope. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. If you think he can be, I don't think he ever will be, but if he is, I mean, that's a heck of a conversation to have about a guy, you know, who you drafted that low in the draft and, you know, didn't have that type of hype or any type of high school hype or anything. And to be able to contribute the way that he does, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, but there are a lot of guys that are big-time scorers, contributors, who never made all-star teams. Like, whenever someone talks about Bane, I say, okay, Eric Gordon's of the world, C.J. McCollum, those type of guys. You know, they're guys who've been notorious for being guys who average around 18, 19, 20 points a game, but never made an all-star team. So, but those are, you know, they've had phenomenal careers, especially Eric Gordon before his injuries. But, yeah, Bane's an incredible player, man, and he's really solidified himself not only as a starter, but like you said, a possibly high-tier starter, not just with the Grizzlies, but the entire NBA, which is –
yeah, and it's a major a major thing to watch. The guy's confidence level, you know, you saw at the end of the game when he hit that three, and you could just see the energy, the way he shoots it is so pure, man. It's just, he just has the tremendous, like, it's not a hint of, like, side spin, or the ball is just perfect, like backspin, perfect rotation, perfect form. And I'm always, you know, shocked when it doesn't go in. If you look at the last 10 games, you know, he's averaging 19 points a game, shooting 49% from the field, 48% from three, 92% from the foul line. But in addition to that, you know, he's got a steal and a half and almost a block a game, and along with 5 rebounds. You know, those are kinds of the bonus things that you wouldn't have expected, you know, from him in these situations. But these 7 games without Ja Morant have allowed him to step up. Another guy that has stepped up hugely, Jaren Jackson Jr., of course, 20 points per game in his last 10 games. And not only that, but he's shooting 50% from the field, 38% from three on almost 7 attempts, 80% from the free throw line. he was just the play that really jumped out to me was when he went right through Anthony Davis,
right?
Like, with his back to the basket.
Yes.
And he's back and he just kind of goes right into his chest and went right at, like, that's, he didn't used to do that. No. He didn't have the strength to do it, and he didn't have the confidence to do it. But he went right through his chest and finished with that left hand little hook shot. Like, that's big time stuff. And you could tell the guy's just he's leveled up in terms of the way he approaches the game. All that stuff is, you don't do that. You don't try that unless you're confident in what you can do, and he should be, and he is. And in the games that the Ja Morant has not played, he's averaging 21 points per game, shooting 41% from three, and he's averaging 2 blocks and a steal per game. So it's big time stuff. It's big time stuff from him. He's playing like a superstar. Honestly, like he's playing like a not a next level type guy, but he's playing
not
on
a
both
scrub
ends. Like,
anymore.
He's playing on both. He's playing like an all-star. Like he's not going to get. He doesn't put up the traditional numbers to be an all-star, but he's playing like an all-star. Like he's absolutely playing like an all-star in these games without Ja Morant, and somebody's had to, and he's done it, man. So kudos to him.
Does Bane play in the 3-point shootout, guys? Do we have a contestant?
I hope so. That would be great for him. That'd be great. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah, because he definitely should get an invitation.
Yeah, I didn't even think about
that. Oh, for sure. No, he's been terrific, and on both ends. And again, his Jaren's defense, though, that's the thing. Offensively, defensively, in the games that Ja Morant hasn't played, and again, you got to kind of take that Oklahoma City game. You have to take that with a grain of salt because everything's kind of elevated because of that. But the Grizzlies are 28 points per 100 possessions, better with Jaren Jackson Jr. on the floor since Ja Morant got hurt. And so that tells you how important he is to the team, and no one else is even close to that's played any major time, that's played in all those games. Steven Adams is plus 23, and Santi Aldama is plus 20 in his limited minutes. But everybody else is kind of much less. He's been just enormous, man, on both ends of the floor.
Yep, and it's a confidence thing. There was a story that came out that said that he was FaceTiming with Ja and Dylan after the game, and it's like, man, this team has a strange level of camaraderie. There is a business aspect of it where you got guys like Jaren who just got his extension. You got guys like Ja who are definitely playing for extension. And you can see him doing certain things to let you know, Ja's trying to get paid. But they're all still pulling for each other. They're all still working together, and they have more like I hate to say a college atmosphere because our college atmosphere here is the best atmosphere to compare it to. But they have almost like a college, high school fraternity type camaraderie towards each other and with each other. And, typically you wouldn't see that, man. You wouldn't see guys calling guys that aren't there like, hey, man, like we want, you wouldn't see that, and it's good to see that with these guys. It's good to see that with Jaren and Ja doing things on Twitter, saying things like, he's worth every penny. Just a great thing, to see Jaren coming around. As those who have been paying attention to Jaren are pretty much expected to, we've already said, Jaren starts off slow and then he gets going. But it's good to actually see it, especially without Ja, in a situation where he's pretty much he's been the man. Him and Desmond Bane together have been remarkable over this stretch, and they're 6-1 without Ja. So it's really wild to see, man. Like just to see that you're looking at the Grizzlies solidly in fourth place in the West this far in the season. Just looks so strange, especially with this version of the team with that next man up mentality, man. But it's great, it's incredible, and it's good. It's good for everyone involved.
When we come back, we're going to talk to our buddy Adam Kramer. We'll talk a little college football playoffs with him. We'll talk about the incredible coaching whirlwind, all that stuff. We haven't talked to him in a bit, so looking forward to catching up with Adam Kramer next. Stick around.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world at sports56whbq.com or on the Sports 56 app.
The Memphis Tigers are once again teaming up with the city of Memphis for the annual Tiger Toy Drive to help families in need during the holiday season. Bring a new unwrapped toy to the women's game against Southern December 4th, and you'll get free admission to the door. In addition, if you bring a new unwrapped toy to either men's game against Murray State December 10th or Alabama December 14th, you'll receive up to 2 free tickets to the Alabama State game December 21st. Come watch the Tigers and donate to a great cause.
Hey, Jeff Allen, I hear you're making everybody holiday happy over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
That's right, Randy. We're closing the year with the Gossett Kia Command the Season sales event.
Not to mention, every Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program.
Plus, right now, I've got 2022 Kia Forte 179, only $27.99 due at signing. Or get a 2022 Kia Sportage LX 199 per month, or 2022 Kia Sorento $279 a month. Both $34.99 due at signing, and all 36-month leases. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, and let's not forget Lewisburg, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 36-month leases, $650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Sorrento NGO 92178, MSRP $30,875. Sportage N 7017 MSRP 25815. Forte any 429,506, MSRP 21035. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 103/21. Dealer stock only.
Tire pressure light on? Tread low? Car sliding when you stop? It's time to go down to Milton on the Spot. Serving you at 3 locations: 1684 Getwell Road, 2127 Ellis Presley, and 3691 North Watkins. Memphis' largest supply of new and used tires, all under warranty. Yes, that's warranty on used tires too. Ask about the tire rotation and balance specials. Milton on the Spot on Getwell Road, Elvis Presley, or North Watkins. Here to take care of your every tire need. Milton on the Spot.
You may be into punk rock, soft rock, or classic rock, R&B, hip-hop, or house, country, techno, or techno-country. But no matter what kind of music you listen to, here's something else you should hear. Please consider getting vaccinated. Talk to your pharmacist today about Comirnaty, COVID-19 vaccine mRNA. This message brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Hi, I'm Troy Fivesh, owner of Fivesh Roofing. Sunday, today and today only. And for the first 50 callers. These are things you will never hear me say in my ads. Because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you don't need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get someone's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or products? By overcharging you in the first place. That's how. 5S Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service, and I do it for a fair price, why would I need gimmicks? Best products, best warranties, and the best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. 5S Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5S Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5S Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now, back to Sports 56 Grind Time. Here once again are Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. We finally have it. It's been weeks. We were finally able to do it, though. It's not easy. On this, the most hallowed of days, the Funky Friday. Can we bring in our good friend Adam Kramer? Is it time?
Yes.
Can we do it?
I think
oh my God! It's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. We've done it. We've connected with him, the one and only, the man himself, the busiest man in show business, ladies and gentlemen. He is Adam Kramer.
No.
Good afternoon, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. It is busy, but it is good. And no, it's always good to talk to you guys.
So you have been you've been doing stuff, lots of stuff.
Yes.
And there's lots of stuff that's happened as a result of all this time that's passed between the last few times, and there's no way that we could possibly catch up on it. So let's just do our best to kind of summarize. I'll give you a few cracks at it right out of the gate. The playoff system has finally delivered by hook or by crook, by some incredible group of games and results and all that, we finally have a group of 5 team, albeit for now, not in a couple of years, but for now at least, a group of 5 team making the playoffs in Cincinnati, taking on Alabama. No surprise, the number 1 seed. It's a surprise how they got there and what they did to Georgia. Are you happy with the way things have turned out? Would you have preferred to see an 8 or 12 game playoff this season, given how things have transpired? And what do you make of the 2 matchups in the semifinals?
Well, I want the committee to squirm. Like, I want the committee to have to make difficult decisions because we are in year 7, and that is not something that outside of the first year, maybe with Ohio State and TCU, that they've had to do. So Oklahoma State was about a half a yard from that happening, truly. And that would have been fascinating. Oklahoma State versus Cincinnati, I think, would have been a really, really good one. But as is, this does feel like a year where more teams would have been a good thing because I don't know if we have a dominant team. Alabama might be. The Alabama team we saw looked pretty dominant, but we haven't seen that Alabama team all year, frankly, or at least not for a while. So, of course, I want more games. I want more football. I want to get rid of the people deciding this. I don't want to go back to 2 teams in the BCS, but I'd certainly like to go to the formula. And, yes, I know the formula as it stands now is matching up largely what the human beings are doing. But I don't like the reasoning behind some of their things. When we're talking about, bumping Notre Dame down because Brian Kelly leaves, that is maximum stupidity as we talk through this kind of thing. But, no, generally speaking, I'm happy with the matchups, and I think they're really fun games for different ways. It is poetic that Cincinnati draws Alabama. Is it not? Like, a group of 5 team gets in, here is your door prize. It's the greatest dynasty we have in all of sports, coming off its most emphatic win in a while. So, and then Georgia versus Michigan, I think, is a glorious car crash. And I mean that in the best possible way. Those teams are going to be going at it. The line play is going to be spectacular. So I'm pretty excited about this.
Do you think, based on what we saw, from Alabama, and I've been talking to people about this, and you've been very close to the folks in Alabama. You've been in Tuscaloosa a few times. You've talked to a lot of people within the program. Do you think there's any way? This sounds crazy to me, but do you think there's any way that they kind of threw off a little bit against Auburn and earlier in the year? Is there any way they could went vanilla in the Iron Bowl of all things because I don't have any other explanation for an offensive line that was so bad becoming much better, a run game that was completely ineffective, taking on the best front 7 we've seen in a long time physically, and really, at times manhandling them and protecting Bryce Young in a way that they haven't really protected it. Is there? I mean, that sounds crazy to me, but I can't, I'm struggling for any other explanation.
I do not have a good explanation either because, here's the thing too. It wasn't just the Iron Bowl. LSU was bad, right? That was a bad, not a good LSU team with all the injuries. Arkansas, who's pretty good, that was a tough game. There's evidence. Obviously, Texas A&M, they lost to a backup quarterback and a team that still lost to LSU. So there are data points all across the year. And, whether it's a young team, to go coach speak on you, trying to find an identity, you bring up the offensive line. And that's probably, truly, if you watch the last 2 games, the Iron Bowl and then the conference championship, that's the most staggering improvement in offensive line play between 2 games maybe I've ever seen. Not even hyperbole. It was different groups.
It's crazy.
And then
it's crazy.
It's crazy. And I don't have a good explanation for it. I know we are supposed to pretend like we do, but it helps to have Bryce Young, I think, is also the explanation. That guy early on against Georgia extended plays beautifully, ran a little bit more, and was effective in doing so, something he doesn't do a lot. And then you find out, oh, my goodness, they've got 2 ridiculously fast wide receivers, one of which they're going to be without, which is a big loss. And, they kind of unlocked it. But, no, there is what we saw in the Iron Bowl, other than, home field can do that sometimes. I don't have a good explanation for it, but they figured it out in about 6 days.
Outside of the playoff games, Adam, what bowl games are you intrigued by, either from a betting standpoint or just what you think would be a good game outside of the playoff games?
Yeah, Oklahoma State and Notre Dame is really fun. I just defensively, it's great. Obviously, Notre Dame is a fascinating team, anyways, considering the just the coaching change, and just Notre Dame now is very likable. All of a sudden, we are rooting for them to get into the playoff. It's amazing. And then I think the one that I'm really fascinated by is Utah, Ohio State. I mean, Utah, if you asked earlier, we were talking about earlier, would you have liked more teams? Yeah. I would have liked automatic qualifier bids, and I want Utah in the playoff because right now I think Utah could pretty much go toe-to-toe with just about anybody, or at least not embarrass themselves. And yet they're a dog in this game, and they have a chance to make a huge impression. But what I'm really intrigued by in that game is, offensive line play, I guess, is going to be the theme of this whole conversation. Ohio State was just absolutely manhandled by Michigan. Michigan just ran over Ohio State. And Utah has a similar formula. I don't think that it's as good, but we saw it against Oregon, and we've seen it really all year. And I'm wondering how the Buckeyes are going to handle that. I'm wondering what the motivation of the Buckeyes are going to be, and if they're just kind of mailing this one in. They've got receivers that are going to be gone. You got a quarterback that's going to be back. You're changing defensive coordinators. I really am curious to see what kind of effort we get from Ohio State.
You talked about Notre Dame all of a sudden becoming likable. They also added Marcus Freeman as their new head coach. What are your thoughts on him, and do you think he's someone that people will be able to rally behind and pull for more than they did with Brian Kelly?
Boy, when he speaks, it feels very real and genuine. And I it's one of the, just watching some of the videos, and I know that Notre Dame is putting these videos out to, generate these kind of emotions, but I would love to play for a dude like that. That's my first thought when I'm watching him, is he's young and he's energetic, and there's just something kind of magical about it. And here's the other thing I really like. Notre Dame very openly is trying something here. When you listen to Marcus Freeman talk, he's talking about being essentially the number one recruiter for all of their players, and very openly saying, I'm going to be focusing my efforts on recruiting, obviously defense, but putting him in a position to be sort of like a presidential role, right? Remember a couple of years ago, Arizona State was talking about sort of changing the alignment of what a head coach does. It really does feel like Marcus Freeman's going to be a recruiter. He's obviously going to be involved in the schematics, and of course he's just a superb motivator. But I really like the fact that they're saying, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get the top talent, because that is the key for Notre Dame to stay at this level and maybe even take that next leap, is just athletes. So, you don't win. Brian Kelly won a lot of games, right? He may not have been likable, but he was pretty consistent. You look at the last 4 or 5 years, guy was really good. And yet the vibe surrounding Notre Dame right now feels very different, very real. I'm excited to see what that translates to next fall.
What do you think about Brian Kelly and his family moving down to Louisiana, his old home, and getting some grits and some boudin and some gumbo? Because I know his mama liked to make it. I've never seen such a ridiculous show in my life. I think it's funny how everyone basically is more or less saying Brian Kelly is. I'm irritated by Brian Kelly, and yet I expect him to win a national championship at some point at LSU. It's kind of a weird dichotomy, but that's where we are.
That's it. That sort of says it, right? I think it's a really good hire. That was an amazing video, by the way. I mean, just incredible. Now, look, I visited a lot of schools around the country, and by the time I come home, I can kind of relate. But that's in a bar. I've had 6 to 11 beers. I'm with good people. The vibe is good. All of a sudden, I've got a twang. Okay, that was not what was happening there. So, but he's made some really good hires. Oh
yeah, absolutely.
Focusing on guys that can recruit that state. The floor on LSU has gotten a lot higher. The ceiling is the same. Win a national title. We've talked about this. I think it's one of the top 3 jobs in all of college football. I think Brian Kelly has a chance to win. It will probably feature clumsy moments like the one we saw. But, this is a guy that's won despite, the academic restrictions at Notre Dame, which is not easy. It's a guy that's won and it's developed. I think we're going to find out what he's capable of, obviously, because at LSU, it's a completely different world of acquiring talent, developing talent, everything else. So, yes, it's an interesting week and an interesting stretch for him. But if you're LSU, you've ended up, I mean, you got a much better coach. I love Coach O, but this is a sizable coaching upgrade. Let's be honest here, whether you like him or not.
Well, and on top of that, I mean, he's motivated. The thing that surprised me when somebody discussed somebody in one of my group chats with buddies, I got a friend who fancies himself a bit of an insider, and so he's always like throwing out some stuff, and sometimes it's true and sometimes it's not true and all that stuff. And he's like, hey, so most of the time I kind of just like take it with a grain of salt. I'm like, okay, all right, But he said, like, a day or so before it happened, he's like, hey man, I hear Brian Kelly's gonna go to LSU. I'm like, why? Like, I get it, but like, I can see why you'd want him. He's a good coach and all that, but like, why would he leave Notre Dame? And even though the money is excellent, I'm still kind of wondering about that. Like, I'm still shocked that like Notre Dame, like someone would leave Notre Dame not by being fired, but choosing to go to a different college football job. I don't know what that says to where we are as far as Notre Dame is concerned, but I mean, he would leave a team that had an outside chance of making the playoff with Notre Dame to go to LSU. I'm still a little bit stunned by that.
I can't, no. And look, this ultimately we're asking, we're putting ourselves in the man's position. But I think what he's probably thinking, and I'll put myself in the man's position, like Notre Dame, I feel like is at its ceiling, and that's a pretty high compliment to him. Notre Dame has won a lot, and then has gotten in the playoff and gotten beat up. And I wonder some of that playoff and title experiences, if he saw this job, which is a wonderful job, and just said, if I'm ever going to do that next level, if I can do it here, right? And I can't speak for it. It's getting back to the original point, though. That contract is hilarious. A $500,000 retention bonus, a $500,000 bonus to make a bowl game, and not to mention, $9.6 million? So he's being paid. I mean, obviously Notre Dame getting the financials a little bit different, but he probably just got a $3 million raise per season. Notre Dame, I'm sure, was going to pay him more or could have paid him more. So the money is huge, but I do wonder if he saw firsthand what happens when you play the schools that have better players, and it did not go well on a handful of high-profile occasions. I just can't help but wonder if it factored into that.
Indirectly, did Mel Tucker start a lot of this? Like the contract that he got, 10 years, $95 million with, and again, no knock on Mel Tucker, who was a really good coach, and did a really good job, and is worth keeping around for sure, even at that inflated price. But to me, that looks around. All the agents are like, "Hey, man, we can use this. We can do this." The next thing you know, Lincoln Riley is heading west. You've got Brian Kelly doing it. Then a huge amount of money all of a sudden gets found under the couch cushion in Miami to go and bring Mario Cristobal back and pay an ungodly buyout and just hang poor Manny Diaz out to dry in the process. Do we all pin it back on Mel Tucker?
I actually think you got to go back a couple of years. I think Jimbo's deal at Texas A&M really kind of started this, right?
10 years, $75 million, yeah.
10 years, $75 million, which is a bargain now, fully guaranteed. You can leave if you want. Good luck. Get somebody to pay you more. I think that deal, even though it didn't exactly catch fire for a couple of years, really started it. And that deal at the time was outrageous. And he's continued to add on to it and add money and, reportedly turned down, 8 years, $125 million to LSU. That's what was reported this week, which is unbelievable. That's, again, we're getting into, not even LFL money. We're starting to get into like Bill Belichick money for coaches, right? So, but now, Mel Tucker's deal was probably the most eye-opening when you consider the fact that he had one really good year, and it's been a great year, obviously, for them, and was able to turn that into 10 years and $100 million. It speaks to me something that I think is both good and potentially out of control, in that there's a lot of schools with money now. television deals, boosters buying in. You look at how Miami is pulling in money from the healthcare system, which actually makes me feel kind of gross when you consider why that. Yeah, I don't want to go into that, but there's money all over the place. Michigan State can pay its coach $100 million now. Things have changed, and they're going to change quickly. And what happens now, by the way, if Brian Kelly wins 5 games, year 1 and 2, and you're stuck with a deal that's largely fully guaranteed, that's the part that I think is going to be very interesting to follow.
Adam, with bowl games and the playoffs, of course, still left to go in college football. There's still football to be played, but pretty much what we call the regular season is over. How would you evaluate the first season where guys were able to get those NIL funds and money coming in?
You know, I think what's impressed me is the guys that are giving to charity, like J.J. McCarthy, the Michigan quarterback, put it on his Twitter this week of all the money he's donated to charity. There are guys that are doing some really good things. I know there's been commentary this week of offensive linemen getting deals and the way that the system is being circumvented to just pad pockets of players whose pockets were already being padded anyways. It hasn't changed. The game hasn't fallen apart. You know, it's fine. Bryce Young reportedly got $1 million in NILs before the season. That was a talking point. Bryce Young's going to win the Heisman. So it hasn't hindered performances like any deal, and we see this with all professional players. Guys get hurt, guys underdeliver, guys transfer. I do think in general, not to the NILs, but there's a wild, wild westish feel to the sport right now, and little has to do with it with NIL, by the way. Guys, get paid, get your money. But when you can have coaches leaving, $100 million deals, the transfer portal, which, by the way, is a good thing for the players, it makes the sport hard to follow. And I love it. I follow it, but when coaches are leaving as frequently as they have, and the players now have the ability to leave as frequently as they can, everybody do their thing. But I also think just for the average fan who's trying to keep up, you got to dig a lot harder to know who is where. And I don't know what the long-term impact of all of this is, but the sport is all grown up now, I guess is the way I would sum it up. And I wonder what the good and the bad ramifications are for that. But the NIL, no. Good for the players, man. It's about time. I hope they are able to capitalize on this more moving forward.
Well, and I mean, I think ultimately, that's it is a price that you have to pay, but it's a price that has to be paid because, you got to take care of these players. You got to make sure they get the opportunities that are owed to them. But that money that's spent, it's truly mind-blowing amounts of money on coaches. And it's apparently only going to go up. You're seeing coordinators making, massive $2, $3, $4 million in some cases. And so my question, Adam, is I look up at the NFL and I see that you got Bill Belichick making about $12 million. That's basically what could have been Jimbo money. Urban Meyer making kind of a similar amount in Jacksonville, earning not quite every penny. John Gruden was making $10 million a year before his unpleasantness, let's say. Pete Carroll in that same kind of ballpark, Sean Payton. But there's a lot of NFL coaches, like Mike Vrabel over in Nashville, making like $3.5 million. Like, how can you look up and say, I'm in the NFL, Jack? And there's some guy that's coaching the University of Miami who's making 2.5 times what I make. There's a guy that's coaching Liberty. Hugh Freeze is making $4 million a year at Liberty, and I'm making less than that as an NFL head coach. I can't help but think that NFL head coaches are going to start seeing massive increases in salary, if for no other reason than this rising tide has got to lift their boat too, surely.
Yeah, and it takes there's just not the same movement in the NFL as in college. It's a different. I agree with you, by the way. At some point, the market has to correct itself, but you don't get the same coaches leaving, the Baltimore Ravens to go to the New York Jets as you do in college. It's not as.
And I was going to say, I just thought about this too, Craig. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in, but one of the other things that we talked about is I think it's sort of counterintuitive because of the money that's involved, and there's more money in the NFL than any other sport on earth, but when you hire a college coach, you are by proxy also paying for a whole bunch of players because they're recruiting and bringing them in. Whereas a head coach in the NFL, you're just paying for the head coach in the NFL. And I kind of think maybe that gets separated with the NIL stuff, but maybe it's never been more important. I don't know.
Well, and also I know this, college, the burden of college coaches is significantly higher, right? When you talk about obviously the NCAA rules, recruiting, when it comes to conflict, right? If a player is in trouble in college, in the NFL, it's handled. The NFL is kind of a guide for you to handle these things. In college, you are largely the guide for that. And of course that becomes very controversial, but a lot of coaches truthfully don't want to spend their Decembers on the road recruiting the entire time, now that doesn't justify or explain the salaries. This is all business. The business of the NFL is very, very good. So I'm with you. It's just every year at the end of the coaching cycle, you're not prying Bill Belichick away from New England. And if the threat was there, we'd keep getting bigger and bigger salaries. Like Lane Kiffin's probably going to get a raise if he keeps winning every year. And that's going to be the case for a lot of these guys. And it's just
and on top of that, what do you do with the data point of Cliff Kingsbury being apparently a very good NFL coach while having shown no signs of being other than a moderately solid college coach?
It's a great question. I do with it. I say Kyler Murray is part of it, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's certainly a big chunk of it, but it's not all of it. And look, when you have a quarterback and you draft well on defense and you trade for, an all-world wide receiver, good things can happen to you. So it's not a perfect science. But yeah, Cliff, when it was rumored, so to speak, that Cliff Kingsbury wanted back into Oklahoma, no, man. Like, this is, for a guy like that, you have a young quarterback that's really entering his prime and a really good roster. And a division, by the way, that you should do quite well in. You can hang out for a bit and hope for a contract extension. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, we could barely scratch the surface of all the stuff that's going on in college football. We haven't even really gotten started with any of the major bowl talk. We'll do that next week if we can. But in the meantime, it is great talking to you, man. I'm thrilled that finally we get a chance to catch up. And man, congratulations. Keep doing your stuff, man, and hopefully we'll be able to catch up.
I appreciate it. Likewise, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
He's our guy, Adam Kramer. He's working hard. He's navigating the waters for Golden Tee. He's the president of Golden Tee now. He basically runs the incredible technologies that does all those Golden Tee games. Mm-hmm. He said it's very difficult right now because of all the international issues with shipping and supply chain and stuff. That it's just really, really hard for them right now. So he's fighting international battles while talking to us about college football. So. We appreciate that very much. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1. We got Kari Thompson coming up for hour number 2. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 98.5.
Hi, everyone. This is Greg Gaston from Sports 56 Mornings. I want to send a heartfelt wish for a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year to all our loyal listeners. And remember, when you wake up, please tune into Sports 56 Mornings with Eli Savoy and me. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. So who's hitting the road for the holidays? I know there's a lot of people who want to get their car, truck, or SUV road ready. How about you? Gotta love this news from our friends at Auto Universe Germantown, 7300 Winchester, just off 385. Get this, full service maintenance with no wait time, and you can get an appointment for any day. That's unreal. Big discounts right now for everything from brake service and wheel alignment to replacing wiper blades, rotating tires, checking the battery, even servicing the transmission. Call Auto Universe Germantown today and ask for Robert. Great deal on the oil change and brake check. Or ask about the deal on the radiator service. There really is no wait time. Call for an appointment and get it done. Professional detailing is 20% off now, and you can get paintless dent removal in the Collision Center. Happy holidays from Auto Universe Germantown. Incredible selection of pre-owned luxury vehicles and full service with no wait time. 7300 Winchester or eautouniverse.com.
I was getting my coffee today, Jose, and I heard there's a new way to get our jobs done at a price we want to pay for them. Grow profits and find new workers. Sure, boss. I downloaded the ZipCat construction app, Jose. Use the work icon, created the job description, and priced it. Yes, boss. Another contractor will buy it, and we got 3 days to accept and mutually approve the job, Jose. Sure thing. New concept. No more estimates. We control our price with ZipCat. Contractors, plumbers, electricians, etc. Find jobs listed with the ZipCat app. Download the ZipCat app now for free on the App Store and Google Play. ZipCat app, the best tool in your toolbox.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now, back to Sports 56 Grind Time. Here once again are Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane.
We've got the rule-breaking allegations that have gone on and all the issues with the NCAA. From Auburn, all the penalties have now been announced earlier today. The NCAA announced the penalties for Auburn basketball. Now, a reminder that there have already been self-imposed sanctions from Auburn, including a postseason ban last year, a reduction of 1 scholarship last year, ban of on unofficial visits, calls, and other recruiting activities back a couple of years ago. Remember, these things have gone on it's been 5 years since this thing happened, 4 years, somewhere in that neighborhood, since the FBI involvement and all that stuff. There is... But the other penalties, in addition to that, Bruce Pearl is going to be suspended. How many games do you think he got, Anthony saying?
He's going to be suspended no more than 2 or 3? 4 maybe?
2.
Okay.
2. 4 years of probation. The program must reduce the total number of scholarships by 2 during that probation. So I assume that, I guess, over the course of every other year they have to take away 1 scholarship. And then a $5,000 fine. So all that for that.
No postseason stuff.
So no additional postseason ban other than the one that they've already served their self-imposed ban. Not a big stick there when the FBI is involved.
Yeah, that is kind of. I think that makes you feel good if you're a Tiger fan, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it makes you feel.
Remember how we were so worried about this at the beginning of the season? Now it's like,
I mean, it's different. I mean, theoretically, it's different.
Yeah.
With the different IARP rules and all that stuff, like that theoretically, that's different. Potentially, I don't know. I really don't know. But I'm surprised that there's not more. But I get it. Like, I mean, I think the NCAA's power and their influence and all that stuff, and then even the public wanting to see penalties for this stuff is all just kind of gone down. Hasn't come to fruition the way that they might have expected it to. So I think that's part of it too. We'll talk to Kari Thompson about that and a whole lot more as he joins us to begin hour number 2 after this. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 98.5.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
There's nothing more frustrating than when your garage door breaks down. You're trying to get to work and it just won't open. What's the deal? Well, I'm not a garage door expert, but my friends at New Day Overhead Doors are. I was using New Day to fix my garage way before they came aboard with us. They are your one-stop shop for all your garage door and garage door opener maintenance needs. True professionals. And get this, New Day will beat their major competitors' price, oftentimes by half. That's half the price. 30 years experience, honest, dependable, family-owned business. Don't ignore those strange noises your garage door may be making. It's New Day Overhead Doors for a simple repair or new garage door opener system. To schedule your appointment, call 901-351-5177. That's 901-351-5177. New Day Overhead Doors.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. Not only is it time for open enrollment for a lot of people, it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For the typical family, switching to MediShare saves about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. And what's more, they like it. MediShare has double the customer satisfaction rate when compared to health insurance. It really is remarkable. There's more than 400,000 members now who have shared more than $4 billion in medical bills, so they can handle your bills too. And here's the thing, if you join before December 15th, they'll waive your new member fee, so that's another $170 you'll save. I'll give you the number here in a second, but call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline, December 15th, so call now and you'll save even more. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
They say this game can take you far. Your moves can take you further. Make moves that start movements.
Hennessy, spirit of the Memphis Grizzlies.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Grind Time. Here once again are Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane.
Oh, hour number 2 is here live in the Family Leisure Studios. My name is Peter Emerson, joined by the one and only Anthony Sane. Darian Newsom, booging through a funky / disco Friday. This is more of a disco. But, you know, disco is funky in its own ways. Yeah. That's fine. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Judges said we're good. Goal is good.
You didn't have to go to the scorecard, did you?
Didn't have to go to the scorecard on that one. We got the approval on that one. All right, so as we begin hour number 2, Grizzlies winners last night over the Lakers. They won 6 of 7 without Ja Morant. Been one of the more impressive runs. We'll talk a lot more about that coming up later on in the show. Obviously tonight, huge matchup involving your Memphis Tigers and Ja Morant's college team, the Murray State Racers. Huge game. Tigers got to get something happening. It's must win.
It is.
It's the whole. You know, there's all that stuff about the. You know, is any game must win? It's a must win game. I don't want to deal with any other. I don't want to argue about it. It's just they got to. They got to, man. They got to, and they got to play better. So must win and must play better for sure.
And it's kind of a tough situation because if you beat this team, it's like, well, it's Murray State, you were supposed to win. If you lose, of course, it's a disaster. You know what I mean? So I don't have the best feeling about this game tonight.
You don't think so, huh?
I'm not saying I think they're going to lose, but I would not be surprised. Did they go to Incredible Pizza last night?
I don't think so. I didn't see any update on that, but I don't remember seeing a lot of Incredible Pizza updates. So
Did they spend the night in Howard Johnson?
I go Hojo. Howard Johnson today.
Because when you're talking about stuff that's got like, when you're talking about like chemistry, like super toxic issues like this team has, I'm not sure just playing another game fixes it. Like, I need to see them actually beat somebody before I'm going to assume they're going to beat Murray State.
Yeah, I'm not.
Because Murray State is amped for this game for sure. You know they are.
Oh, without a doubt, and I mean, and you know that, that's a shame that I assume Ja's not going to be there because of the COVID situation and all that. Which is a shame, but I know he's fired up. I know he's excited about it. I know it's a major deal for him and his family, and so there's going to be a little extra juice in the crowd. There's going to be a little extra sizzle out there. There's going to be a lot of Murray State people that have made the trip, even though Ja is not necessarily able to come out and join them. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be in that mix. So it's going to be a weird. And I think the other thing, sometimes, man, when you get in these situations, and we're going to talk to our buddy Kari Thompson here momentarily, but sometimes you get in these situations where you are struggling, and playing at home can be almost detrimental at times. It just depends on how the team approaches things and how that pressure is going to hit. Because sometimes, you get that crowd starts to get on your back a little bit and people start to get kind of nervous. You hear that little murmur going through the crowd. Oh, no, we're losing. No. And so it's not always – home is not always where the heart is.
Home can be tough for you, man. If you're screwing around with Murray State, it gets tough.
Exactly. Let's just kind of see how that plays out. Our good friend Kari Thompson joins us now from the Jackson Clarion Ledger, covering a historic year in HBCU football, among other things, and the dear friend of Coach Prime already. Kari, what would you describe your relationship with Coach Prime right now?
I don't think Coach Prime knows who I am yet, which is kind of a good thing.
Okay. Have you spoken to him in anything other than a Zoom or a press conference setting?
I have not. I've been trying for weeks, but he is a hard man to get a hold of.
I'm shocked. Truly shocked.
Yeah, man. Yeah. He has this whole thing
busy?
in the hospital, and then now he has a bowl game in Atlanta to prepare for. So,
yeah, the Celebration Bowl.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I didn't read the story card, but they talked about how actually the Brittany Renner thing, people are talking. That story made a buzz last week, but that actually happened like a month ago, right?
Right, it was at homecoming.
All right, because people are talking like
She
go ahead.
She's a Jackson State alum,
right?
So she came back for homecoming and stopped by the locker room to talk to the football team.
Like, why not? But I was asking because they said that the latest thing he did something about teaching the boys grooming or something like that. I didn't read the story because I'm like, okay, that's goofy. But what are the details to that story?
I believe they're talking about his partnership with Gillette. I think he has some kind of deal with Gillette where he's kind of incorporating it. But Gillette slid him some cash to kind of promote this whole look good, play good, feel good thing.
Mm.
Okay.
You look good, you feel good, you play good. Is that true? Do you look good, you write good? Is that good?
I guess so, man. I mean, sure.
How is your writing been since you changed your Abby on Twitter?
Oh, man, it's been impeccable. You know what I'm saying? It's great. Got me a new job.
Exactly. Man, switch to Abby. Got up out of here. All within months. That's crazy. But, yeah.
Man, what did you think? I like the story that you wrote about the guy, Walker Sturgeon, who was you convinced him as an Ole Miss fan to show up and be part of the whole situation. Deion Sanders wanted to I guess he wanted to get all of Mississippi, all the college football fans in the state, to try to support Jackson State in the SWAC title game against Prairie View A&M. And so Walker Sturgeon heard that, and he read your stuff, and he said, "Okay, all right, let me head over there and see what's happened." He said he turned his heart in all of that. So what did you make of this when you, apparently this guy was friends with Jarrell Poe and all that stuff? He looks basically like you would expect a, middle-aged-ish, younger middle-aged Ole Miss sort of prototype Ole Miss fan to look. White guy, preppy-looking guy, in and amongst it at JSU. What was that situation like, and what was the experience?
Well, first of all, he has a Memphis tie because he grew up in DeSoto County.
There you go.
I believe he went to DeSoto Central. But I mean, it's just it's a cool story because we don't need to tell anybody that SEC fans look down on the rest of college football, particularly HBCU sports. Like, the fact they're very snobby in that way. So it's kind of cool that one of them decided, hey, I'm going to go check it out, see what the atmosphere is like, step outside my comfort zone, and go check out some football and support another Mississippi team. I think that's cool. We need more of that.
Did he have a good time?
Yes. I mean, he talked about, how, he got some shots of some brown liquor in him, and
Okay, all right.
was cheering with everybody, even the Mississippi State fans, and someone gave him a free hat, and he was talking about how much he loved the band, man. He was saying that's the big difference between, SEC games and SWAC games, that, obviously the SWAC schools have killer bands, and he was saying that SEC schools could learn a little something from the SWAC band game.
Anything going on in Memphis Preps basketball or football that you were aware of, even in your?
He doesn't care about Memphis Preps anymore.
I know he doesn't.
What are you talking about? Why are you even asking about that? You don't even know what. He doesn't know who's playing. He doesn't know any of that stuff. What are you talking about?
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, come on.
Oh.
There's one of the biggest tournaments in the Southeast here in Memphis this weekend, guys. I'm surprised you guys are not all over this. Battle and Bluff at Bartlett, man.
Well, why don't you tell me about it? You know how I feel about recruiting, Gar. You know how I feel about recruiting. So you're gonna have to tell me about that.
I mean, this is. You guys remember the whole Showtime thing with Steven Jackson last year, where there's a massive tournament, where there's a massive tournament, and Amar Knox dropped 37 on J.D. Davidson and got a Memphis offer before he decommitted.
Yep.
This is that same tournament part 2. So there's all these 4 and 5 stars who are super highly ranked at Bartlett this weekend. I think the tournament actually started yesterday. Opened up with Bartlett versus Christian Brothers, which is supposedly the 2 best teams in the city to open the season. So you start with that, but you also bring in some national talent that's going to kick in over the weekend. So it should be a really good weekend at Bartlett.
Well, and in the like I said, I respect it. I hope it all goes well. I hope everyone has a great time. I think watching the Tigers this year, it makes me happy that I don't get too deep into the recruiting game because things don't always necessarily go as swimmingly as you might have thought that they would. But it is nice to see that Memphis continues to be a home for a lot of these players and a lot of these teams. Now, we talk a lot about the Jackson State and the HBCU stuff from the football perspective. What have you on the basketball side? What is cooking? I remember the maker stuff. I remember there's been some Hersey Miller drama over at Tennessee State.
Yeah,
what's happening over there?
That's huge. I'd say Hersey Miller is the big story on the basketball side for now because I don't know. I'm curious to see your perspective on this thing. Like, your Master P, you have a ton of cash. You send your kid to Tennessee State,
right?
And you kind of sort of know what you're getting into. You know that Tennessee State doesn't have the resources of a Tennessee per se or a Memphis. Send your kid to Tennessee State. He gets hurt, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, we're leaving because Tennessee State doesn't have the medical resources to take care of him. What do you think about that situation?
Yeah, I saw that story, and I'm glad you brought it up because I forgot to even ask you about it. But was this something where
technically I brought it up, but that's I'll take credit for it.
Yeah, Peter.
So
give Peter a response. Yeah.
Yeah,
give me my props.
I think I get that because even though Master P's a millionaire, why should he have to take care of his son's medical stuff out of pocket if he's a student if it's an athlete for Tennessee State University? Like this, I'm not mad at that at all. That doesn't sound like the only reason why he's leaving, though. I think that just sounds like maybe the final straw or something, but it's probably was something more before that. I mean, I know you just kind of got in that environment, so you may not know, but yeah, it just doesn't sound like the whole story. But if it was the whole story, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it at all because I'm not paying for just because I can. That mean that you guys should entitle me.
I don't know. Master P was like, we had a great program in Tennessee State, great culture, loved it, but can't rest the injury stuff.
Man, I mean, he would not be the only dad or mom who has like funded more or less an entire program so that their kid could go and do stuff. I get like you don't feel like you're obligated to. He's not obligated to, obviously, but like if you're Master P, for God's sake, like I'm not saying you got to be super charitable or whatever, but like it is sort of incumbent upon you. Like that's sort of the thought is like, hey man, you're going to show up and we're going to get use that empire, the No Limit Empire. We're going to use the empire of those Master P's snacks and all the stuff that he's making now. Like, yeah, we're going to like rebuild the whole program, like rebuild the whole medical department. Like what are we doing out here? Why'd you send him if you weren't going to like plunk down the money? What's the point of that? Like, the idea like that if you want to improve, I guess is the idea, Kari, to like, okay, we're going to improve the stature of HBCU basketball by bringing the name Hersey Miller and the Miller family to it without like bringing a whole bunch of extra money to it, because I think the money's kind of a big factor in making HBCU sports relevant.
Okay, here's my take on this. So to me, if I'm Master P, it's a matter of principle, because at the end of the day, no matter how underfunded you are and how like less of an advantage you have compared to the major programs, you still have a responsibility to take care of the basics. And if you don't have enough trainers, and you don't have a well-equipped enough medical staff to deal with type of injuries that go over in the course of the basketball season, that's something that's pretty basic, that it's like, even if I had all the money in the world, why would I want to help you if you're not even taking care of that stuff?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's
but why are you sending the kid? But I mean, like, isn't that one of the questions that you say, like, when you're sending your kid to the school? Like, okay, so, what happens if he gets hurt? Like, we got training staff. Like, what's the medical staff look like? Like, is this shocking? Were they like, oh, yeah, no, P, we got this covered, man. If he gets hurt, it's going to be top of the line, baby. Incredible. It's going to be amazing, the amount of care he's going to get. We're going to bring in, any doctor, Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz. We're bringing them all in. It doesn't matter. And then, like, he gets hurt, and they're like, oh, sorry, actually, we can't afford anybody. We don't even have a trainer. Sorry. Like, it seems silly to me that he wouldn't have known that going in.
Yes, but you expect a basic level of care for your kid. Like,
right.
I can't imagine that they would have been like, nah, P, he gets hurt, he's on his own. Like, nah, like, that's not how it is.
So you think they just kind of lied to him, or like they just didn't, they misrepresented what was out there?
I think he kind of expected a basic level of care, and he thought Tennessee State could handle that, whatever basic level he was expecting, and then they didn't get it.
So you're saying they don't even have Band-Aids on hand? Is that no gauze. No gauze.
Yeah.
I'm saying this kid has a season injury, and P is saying it shouldn't have been that way. It shouldn't have ended up being that serious. Like, he could have got better medical care, and it wouldn't have been a season injury. So, like, it's a matter of principle to me. It's like, you say you're going to do something, you say you're going to take care of these kids, you actually have a level of responsibility for taking care of these kids, even if it's not Master P's kids.
Right. I think I'm with you. Like, I don't think that's on Master P at all. I don't know anything about the story though. Like I said, I did not read it. You probably know way more about it than I would. Could it be a situation where he might have felt disrespected because they asked him to front someone else's injury situation, like some other kid had some procedure need to be done, and they came to Master P asking him for money for whatever. Could that be the case?
I don't think so, because I think if you come to him, I mean, he knows who he is and he knows his bank account. Like, I really don't think he's tripping over that. I think he's tripping over the fact that he's like, this is my kid. He should be getting the Master P treatment. If there's one kid whose leg you should fix, it's his.
Yeah, I'm not mad at him for that either, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, that's what I'd be. I'd be like, yo, I took the risk. Like, get my kid the right care. Like, take care of my kid.
How has he been on the court, though?
Ouch. Ouch. No.
How's he actually been on the court, though? Do you know, Carr?
Kersey?
Yeah.
He's just a freshman. I can't imagine that he's playing too much. And obviously, he didn't last long. We're like 2 or 3 games in. We're still technically in football season. And there's also some really big HBCU football moves, too, that we haven't gotten to today.
Yeah. Do tell. Yeah, about, yeah. Go ahead and hit us with all that.
Hugh Jackson, the Grambling head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Huge hire. Huge hire. And I'm hearing, I don't know, there's a lot of internet rumblings that, like, some of the other openings are going to be big, too. Prairie View has an opening. And there's some interesting names tied to that one as well.
Does it feel like the Prime experiment now has opened the door for a lot of other names and a lot of other guys to go in and try to be part of it and to try to elevate the level of HBCU? Because I mean, you've been there. You've had tweets that have gone fully viral talking about the celebration of the sport of celebration of HBCU sports and how people really have responded at Jackson State. There were a huge crowd on hand for J-State's homecoming game. There's a huge crowd on hand for the championship game. I assume the Celebration Bowl is going to be probably as well attended as it's been in a long time. Are other people kind of seeing that and say, okay, all right, then, maybe we can continue to rise this thing up a little bit?
Oh, no doubt, dude. I mean, Hugh Jackson was an NFL head coach not too long ago. There's no way on earth he's coaching at Grambling State if Deion Sanders picks Jackson State job. I don't think so. I don't think Eddie George is at Tennessee State either. Like, Eddie George is doing other stuff with his life before. Like, I don't think he's randomly going, you know what? I want to be a college coach before Prime did it. So maybe I'm giving Prime Time a little bit too much credit, but I don't know. He's had a really transformative impact. I mean, it's just been insane. Like, when you're talking about a random Jackson, well, not random because it is rivalry, but you're talking about Jackson State versus Alcorn, the two schools that if you're not into HBCUs, you've never, ever heard of in your life. We talk about that being in Mississippi the same weekend as the Egg Bowl and outdrawing it. I mean, that's insane. Like, and they're set up for another monster week this weekend because people are going to come see Deion coach in Atlanta, like coming back to where it all started. Like, people are going to come see that.
No doubt about it.
I would guess that Deion Sanders has some fans in Atlanta. I would guess that.
I think there's probably a few. There might be a few that are out there. But I think it's awesome, man. You got like Mo Williams is like the Alabama State men's basketball coach. Right. You've got Bonzi Wells obviously here at Lemoyne, and Reggie Theus down at Bethune-Cookman. And over on the football side, Tyrone Wheatley is a coach there. Sean Gilbert, is a coach. Greg Ellis, a former Cowboy and Raider coach at Texas College. Like they're. I mean, it's already happening on the women's basketball side. Cynthia Cooper is at Texas Southern. Laura Harper is at Coppin State. Lindsey Hunter coaching Mississippi Valley. Like it's definitely there's a whole bunch of former athletes who seem to be kind of pushed into this direction, and I can't help but think it's going to be beneficial. I know we've talked a lot about even going back to years ago, Kari, when you first started coming on, it was me and you and CJ, and you guys are both HBCU grads, so you have particularly close relationship to all of this. And we were talking about like what would it take for HBCUs to become more relevant nationally. But it's exactly stuff like this. Like, I mean, all of a sudden now, I mean, we're talking more about HBCU stuff than we have nationally, and people have nationally in ages, maybe ever.
Yeah, I agree. And of all the names you mentioned, I just got to say, there's only one coach bringing Brittany Renner and Young Dolph to homecoming.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, a different level, man. He is a different level altogether. There's no doubt about that. All right, so we'll talk to you next week in preparation for that Celebration Bowl, as a matter of fact, among many other things, and we'll get into the Celtics stuff and all that next week too with you, Kari. But keep doing your thing, man. I'm enjoying your stuff down there.
Appreciate it. Y'all do the same.
All right, bro.
All right. He's our pal, Kari Thompson, joining us from the Jackson Clarion Ledger down in Mississippi, covering JSU. We're going to talk a little NBA. There's some you sent me a little interesting tidbit that some folks are talking about with regard to a Grizzly player. We'll talk about that when we come back. A whole lot more still to come here as we roll on this Friday. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 98.5.
Former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn joins Brett Norsworthy for Sports Time on Sports 56, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Get ready to command the season in your new Kia from Gossett Kia on the Pike. All with Kia's year-end push and a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty to back them up. 2022 Kia Forte, 41 MPG, $179, only $27.99 due at signing. Or 2022 Kia Sportage LX front-wheel drive, $199 a month. Or 2022 Kia Sorento, $279 a month, both only $34.99 due at signing, all 36-month leases. If you're ready to end the year in a big way, come see Bobby J today. He's ready to buy your sleigh and put you in a new Kia. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month leases, $650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Sorento, NGO 92178, MSRP $30,875. Sportage in 7017,625, MSRP $25,815. Forte 8429,506, MSRP $21,035. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 103/21. Dealer stock only.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. Not only is it time for open enrollment for a lot of people, it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For the typical family, switching to MediShare saves about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. And what's more, they like it. MediShare has double the customer satisfaction rate when compared to health insurance. It really is remarkable. There's more than 400,000 members now who have shared more than $4 billion in medical bills, so they can handle your bills too. And here's the thing, if you join before December 15th, they'll waive your new member fee, so that's another $170 you'll save. I'll give you the number here in a second, but call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline, December 15th, so call now and you'll save even more. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
So this was going to be one of those Central Barbecue spots where I encourage everybody to get ribs for people as stocking stuffers. But? Well, I was listening to your show.
Oh, really?
Sure, I listen every day, seething with jealousy. But I heard one of your spots that had the code word big head.
Yeah, that's right.
I always thought you were probably sensitive about the big head thing.
No. I accept that I have a big head.
Huge.
Maybe we should just get back to Central Barbecue.
Well, I'm going to get back to the whole Central Barbecue makes the perfect holiday gift. But seriously, look at that pumpkin.
Let's just...
I mean, that thing could have its own weather system.
Okay, we get it. Let's get back to...
I know. Central Barbecue gift cards are a great stocking stuffer. How the hell do you even buy hats?
I don't.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
Mount
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show. Right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now, back to Sports 56 Grind Time. Here once again are Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane.
What a big weekend it is, man. Grizzlies beat the Lakers last night. Tomorrow, Grizzlies celebrate along with the rest of Memphis.
Say
Zach
it.
Randolph.
Say it.
50 for the city?
No, The greatest? Come on.
Oh. You got it. You got it.
No, you got it. Come on.
Amongst the greatest Grizzlies of all time.
Yeah. Because your numbers say that Mark is better. Right?
I mean, it's just different. I can't. To me, I can't differentiate the two. They were two different. They worked beautifully together.
When they make that video,
two different types of dudes.
Yeah, there was clearly a 1A and a 1B though. Let's not act like they were the same. Or did one was better than that one was better than the other? Come on now.
You just said it. You just said it right there.
I was watching the documentary and just thinking, when they make Mark's documentary, like what highlights are they going to show? Like, what series did Mark lead us to?
When he does the Shaq walk,
yeah. I mean, like, they can show like Zebo led us to 2011. They can show 2013. I mean, what are they going to show? On Mark's video, what's it going to be?
The trade.
How about the
JV? They're going to show Jonas Valanciunas.
What are you talking about? Mark had multiple game-winning and game-tying shots.
I'm talking about playoffs. Stop playing with me.
He had a game-winning shot in the playoffs against the
How many playoff series do you call the Marcus Hall series?
You just asked me what would be on there. He literally has a game-winning shot.
I'm not interested in watching it. I think I'll probably skip out on them.
Peter's going to give you a dissertation of
Marcus. It's up to you.
Hall.
I don't know why would you want to do that?
The fact that those moments don't exist is and then there's still a conversation with people saying Mark is better than Zebo is crazy. Like when we have full documentaries showing where Zebo carried us to series, and the most magical fourth quarters in Grizzlies history in the playoffs, all these type of things. But we still have these Marcus.
You say that with S's on there.
What?
You have S's.
Because it happened twice. Like, I watched Zebo carry us to 2 playoff series wins, bro. What are you talking about? Well, more than 2, really.
Listen, Zebo's he was a phenomenal player. I don't know why I don't know why you always want to turn this into some kind of a anti-Marcus All thing.
Because I feel jaded, bro. That people disrespect 50 like that in this city.
Why is that disrespectful?
Because if you ain't saying he the best, something wrong with you. That's why. That's disrespect. Thank you, John Morgan. Jay Moore. I'm just playing. But yeah, that's why, man.
Silly.
No, it's not silly, man. It's silly not to call him the greatest of all time, bro.
Why is that? Why would that be?
All right, I'm done, man. They got the first dude retiring first, bro. The first number in the jerseys, it'll be in the Raptors. They doing it the right way.
Yeah, because he retired first.
Man, stop it.
if Mark retired first,
man, you lost your mind. You lost your mind. Hey, bro, talk about something else, bro. Talk about something else, bro.
Tell them to talk about football.
No,
not football.
50 for the city. They're doing it right.
Hey, I mean, I don't know.
How many people were there when Mark came back for his last game? Nobody showed up. Come on, Peter. You supposed to? It was during COVID. Nobody could show up. You supposed to. Come on, Peter. You messing my jokes up, man. 50 for the city. Don't do it, Zebo. Give us one more game, Zebo. Suit up tomorrow. Zebo can suit up tomorrow and give
8 and 8.
He can give Christian Wood 20 and 12 tomorrow.
Yeah, he probably
With the Eddie Winslow fade.
I don't know about that, but maybe he could. Marc Gasol's playoff career for the Grizzlies, by the way, 17 points, 9 rebounds per game, 45% shooting. Zach Randolph's 17 points, 9 rebounds, 43% shooting for the Grizzlies. So,
hey, what about how many series did he will us?
60 games played for Marc Gasol, 59 games played. Zach Randolph, 62 games played for the playoffs. Basically, they, as I said before, and I'll continue to say again, Zach Randolph, 0.4 blocks per game. Marc Gasol, almost 2 blocks per game and almost a steal a game. Zach Randolph, none of that, twice as many assists. I mean, again, if you want to just say basketball is just about scoring points, then he barely even did that better than Marc Gasol. But on top of that, everything else.
I had to call this man Mark. Peter.
The streets just call Peter box score Peter.
Peter, how many times? Tell me more about the series where we said, "Hey, get a ball to Mark and let Mark just let us win." Mark, go get us this dub, Marc Gasol. Tell us more about that story, Peter.
I don't.
It's not out there. It never happened.
All the stories, all the times that Marc Gasol played extremely well to give Grizzlies a victory on Lotzzy's game. I don't know what you want.
Peter,
what do you want to say?
I'm watching the documentary the other night, and I'm like, I don't want to be this guy. I'm enjoying the documentary, but he says every time Z-Bo got the ball, listen, Derek, I need you to co-sign. So every time Z-Bo got the ball, he was getting double teamed by Tim Duncan and Antonio McDyess. I'm like, who in the hell was guarding Mark? I'm like, where is Mark at the whole time? Like, why was Mark scoring 40? Like, out of the world, they were doubling the other big off on Z-Bo. What was Mark doing the whole time?
Boris D out. He was holding.
Like, what are we talking about, bro?
It's just sad, man.
Yeah, I know
it's
it.
sad.
Say it. It's sad. I know.
Yeah,
all right, we're gonna move on, though, man. This ain't about
that's what
that.
Hey, listen, it's exactly right. That's basketball. Then hey,
we celebrating Z-Bo tomorrow night. I can't wait.
I'm just going. No, you're right. I'm just going to forget about the Western Conference semifinals. Game 3 when Zach had 8 and 6. Game where Marc Gasol had 29 and 4. I'm gonna forget about that. Zach was 4-12. They won that game. By the way, so
I got your brain, man.
I guess I'm gonna forget about. Oh yeah, I forget about that game where Zach had Western Conference Finals game against the Spurs that year when Zach had a grand total of 2 points and 7 rebounds, going 1 of 8 from the field.
That was the knee game. That was the knee series, right? When his knee wasn't right?
Hey, what was it?
Hey, you tell me, man. I'm asking you.
They come through. No, you're the big fan. Remember, you're the one that said, "Hey, you all know these series about that Zach never had a bad game ever." So I don't know, man. I'm surprised. Hey. I'm looking through. I figured looking through this would be 30 and 20 every time. It's amazing that it's amazing. I just don't see that. That's he had 9 and 7 in a 27-point playoff loss. That's weird.
Hey.
I don't know. I thought he would have dominated every game. This is amazing. That's wow. You're making me out here disparaging. You have to make me disparage Zach. I didn't want to do that. I like Zach Randolph. I don't know why you're. Your love is outrageously ridiculous.
One pretty person said Peter pulled up numbers up and leaned in towards the
yes.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. Let me get right on that. On top of these numbers here. Yeah. Yeah.
He's getting serious now.
Yeah, that's right. All these box scores are small. I got to get
box score Peter.
Hey,
that's right. I think the box scores are small. How many of those championships?
We had
how many of those championships Zach's got?
That Marc Gasol led Raptors team. My bad. Yeah.
How many of those? Yeah. How many? Let's see. Same All-Star. No, Mark's a 3-time All-Star. Zach's 2-time All-Star.
Yeah, the worst position in the NBA during this stretch. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. All defensive player of the year, defensive player of the year. Interesting. Zach was he ever on the all defensive? No.
Hey man, the blasphemy, man. The night before Zach Randolph.
You're making me do it. I don't even want to do it. I love Zach. I told you I love Zach, but you're making me do it because you can't talk good about Zach Randolph without dogging out Marc Gasol. You can't do it. It's impossible for you.
I'm excited that. My son,
and I will not let that slander.
My son
stand.
I got my Zach Randolph record, the album. They're giving out tomorrow. I had it sitting up on my. It's great. I had it sitting up on where my TV is, where the big 70-inch is. And Gabe said, "Dad, who is that? Does he play for the Grizzlies?" I said, "Not anymore."
Second biggest TV.
Yes, yeah.
Second biggest TV on the
show. On the show, like, yeah. But I said, Gabe said, "Dad, who is that?" I said, "Does he play for the Grizzlies?" I said, "Not anymore, son. But that's the greatest Grizzlies of all time." And I get to take him tomorrow, and I say, son, that's that man. That's that man I was telling you about. There goes that man.
Mama. There goes that man.
Gabe gonna tell you, but Peter said.
No.
But Peter said.
Damn no stats.
Zach Randall.
Peter
Once
said
again,
Mark.
doing it to Antonio McDice. Oh, baby.
Hey.
McDice.
Z-Bo
Tastes so nice, I said it twice. Grizzlies up 6 as we run to the break.
Jay, they had Mark. Z-Bo was getting guarded by Mark's man and his man. What was Mark doing the whole time? Mark's just out there. Oh man.
There he
anyway,
goes.
y'all know
Z-Bo. Zachary Randall.
But no, we had a text to say that the show that they thought we were tired. So I had to go ahead and wake Peter up right fast. I knew that'd get him going.
That was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
They said Peter pulled the stats up and got closer to the screen.
And lean in.
Yep. Yeah, I got to lean in on this. I got to lean in right. Yeah.
God, Peter, you're so funny, man.
I'm not going to let this slander stand. I told you that. I'm not going to do
That
it.
man
I'm
said
gonna
if
talk
Mark
right
had
to
retired first, he would have retired Bar first. Stop it.
Stop. Exactly right.
My boy Jay,
exactly
my
right.
boy Jay laughing behind the glass. Come on, Peter, you tripping.
Which one of them was from? I mean, Marcus All lived in Memphis. He grew up in Memphis.
Did you really go there? Did you really go there, bro? You
Yeah,
think
yeah,
Marcus
that's right.
Hall is more of an image of Memphis, Tennessee than Zach Randall? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say image of Memphis, Tennessee. I said from Memphis. Went to high school in
stop
Memphis.
It,
The
bro.
guy was.
Man, get out of here, bro. Marcus Hall ain't spent one volunteer night in Memphis in his life.
Yeah, he has.
No, he ain't. He ain't spent not one night in Memphis on his own. He either played here or he lived with his mama and them.
No.
And when it was time to get up out of Memphis, he got up out of here.
He had no choice in getting
Man,
up out
Z-Bo
of
in Memphis right now. Been here.
Well, yeah, because they're honoring his, they're honoring his jersey.
Z-Bo fly to Memphis, get a haircut every week, bro.
Yeah. So does Mark. Mark gets lined up in Memphis every week.
I'm about to start telling some what's this? Coming to
Margo
America
to Chris
story.
Styles. Margo to Chris Styles.
I saw Marcus.
Yeah, exactly
Zach
right.
Randolph.
Yeah.
I saw Zach run over church last Sunday.
Yeah, I saw Mark
sound
getting a plate full of wings the other night. It's incredible.
Man,
He loves it.
No, he eat meat.
He had a guard. What are you talking? Yes, he does eat meat. He's not a vegetarian. He just grows his own food and all that stuff. He has a little garden and all that stuff, man. Come on.
Man, you know I fool with Mar. I just had to get you fired up.
No, I know. You like to. I know. It's why I like
Fidget for the city. Are you gonna cry tomorrow? When they,
I might. I'm excited about being there, man. It's emotional, man. It was an incredible time. I'll never forget that. And that's why I think the NBA stuff is so fun when you have a run like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a while since the Grizzlies saw a run. They've made the playoffs, had like one series here and there, maybe one series victory, but it hadn't been, since they made that run in the Z-Bo led first round and all that stuff. That team that made it to the Western Conference Finals, what have they had? One playoff series victory. Like they have not really, they got in 2015 they beat Portland 4-1 and then had the series against the Warriors. So really haven't had that run. But I'll never forget that run that went all the way into June. It was right at the beginning right at the end of May when they finally got eliminated. So the city for like 2 months was just on fire.
Oh, it's crazy.
Like everybody's going. Like it was so like that playoff run, man, downtown. And that was the year that it flooded down there, so it was crazy downtown anyway. Like the Mississippi River flooded all the way up to 2011. It flooded all the way up, and they had that triple overtime game against OKC. It was crazy. That series went 7. Could have won that series, and then 2 years later when they go to 2013, that thing goes all the way into May and June as well. It was that was just a special time, man. It was just a special time, man. You look back now and you don't realize it at the time, but that was a really rare thing. Look how many teams, they didn't win a championship, but how many teams actually even have that?
Right.
Even have those kinds of moments?
Great memories for the city.
Just not that many, man. Not that many. So really special. Really
Peter
special
Shane
stuff.
has a texter backing him up. Keith says it's not slander, Peter. It's fact.
Peter is the Lord of the nerds. Everyone knows that, and like all of his followers believe what Peter's saying, but like the real ones know, man. But anyway, I also want to put out as a note to everyone that the festivities tomorrow, the Zach Randolph.
He cannot help it. He can't help it.
Listen. The celebration of the GOAT, of the greatest Grizzly, bar none of all time, is
the
actually,
G-GOAT?
Yeah, it's going to be after the game. People probably would assume it's going to be.
I saw that at the ticker on the ticker last night.
They're doing it after the game.
Yeah.
It's not going to be at halftime. It's going to be after the game is over. They're going to do the celebration for Z-Bo. So stay in your seats.
So the actual jersey comes. The Raptor deal is after the game. Okay.
So it might
may have to
be a
cancel.
long
May have
night.
to cancel.
I
it
don't
a big
understand
one.
why they're not doing it at halftime though. Like, that seems kind of wild to me. But
I guess because I think they want. I think the players. I think some of the players want to be involved in it. I think they want to give it the full attention that they want. Before the game, players are going to be warming up and focused and all that stuff. Middle of the game, obviously they're going to be distracted. But after the game, everybody can just kind of relax,
have a party,
and just have a little bit of a party. Now it's going to suck if Houston comes in here and wins and all that. But the way the Grizzlies are playing, I don't.
They'll be on a back-to-back, man. We'll catch. Yeah, they'll be on a back-to-back. Giannis will take care of them tonight, and we'll get left over. Now, unless they thrash Giannis tonight, then they'll be on a 9-game winning streak coming in.
Ah,
yeah, go ahead and
rest everybody.
Milwaukee's like a 9-point favorite tonight, though. But yeah, let's get them. Let's get them, man. Get them.
All right. So when we come back, we're going to talk about tonight for the Tigers. Will Zach Randolph be there to cheer the Tigers on? We'll find out, and we talk about that when we continue here. Real Sports Talk, Sports 5698.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Hi, I'm Troy Fivesh, owner of Fivesh Roof Services. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We've all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, that's not possible. There are aerial pictures that can be taken every 4 years that can be used to measure most buildings, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof, or even if you need one, looking at pictures that could be 4 years old. If you'd rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, give us a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best service we know how to give. Fivesh Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fivesh Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fivesh Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
is pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said, now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
It's time to call Doug and Colin Brown for your house. Looking to buy or sell a home in Mississippi? Rely on Doug and Colin Brown, $1 Million Realtors at Regency Realty in Mississippi. This father-son combo will help you find your next dream home. With decades of experience, Doug and Colin Brown put honesty, integrity, and clients first. Call Doug and Colin Brown in Mississippi at 901-598-9168. Regency Realty, 901-350-5050.
They say this game can take you far. Your moves can take you further. Make moves that start movements.
Hennessy, spirit of the Memphis Grizzlies.
Now, back to Sports 56 Grind Time. Here once again are Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane.
Long and wide open, fantastic boy, slide, slippity slide. Man, Coolio was terrible.
Yeah, very much so. Every song he came out with was like somebody else's hit.
Exactly. Every single one. Absolutely the worst here on this Funky Friday.
But of course I wouldn't have given you Coolio. This is obviously Lakeside, right? You got it, right? Okay.
No, I know. I know. It just reminded me of just made me think about it. It's very sad. Right there. All right. Before we talk about the Tigers tonight, bring that funk down just a little bit so I can I gotta I want to talk. We got to be dry, no funk involved, because it's pure 100% real truth when I talk about FanDuel and FanDuel Sportsbook. Basketball fans, you can celebrate the NBA's 75th anniversary season on FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can place their first bet risk-free, and if you don't win, you'll get up to $1,000 back. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, now's the perfect time to give it a shot, and I can encourage you to do that because as a FanDuel user myself, and I enjoy betting quite a bit, when I feel like it, just kind of check the odds, see what's going on. And I've already obviously registered and deposited and all that stuff, but if you haven't, it's super easy, including they accept Venmo to make it so simple to deposit and register and get everything in. And also, it's easy to get that money in, and it's easy to get that money out. That's really what separates FanDuel from a lot of other folks out there. FanDuel can pay your winnings to you in as little as 2 hours. Odds boosts and specials, live betting, all that stuff, it's all there. There's no better place to bet on the NBA than FanDuel. You want to bet this weekend? Now's the time. If you already have FanDuel Sportsbook, FanDuel's hooking all the customers up with $50 when you refer a friend, and your friend will get $50 too. What a deal. Just invite them using your exclusive referral link, which can easily be found when you tap the refer icon. You can see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, sign up using promo code BIGHEAD to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. That's BIGHEAD. Make every moment more this NBA season. Must be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789. So we talk about the game tonight. It is a big one. Anthony's saying there's no question about it. It's a must-win situation, and the Tigers are 10.5-point favorites tonight.
Take the points.
Don't take them this time.
That's a lot of points. Man.
No, I'm saying take Murray State is what I'm trying to say.
You're saying Murray State.
No,
Yeah,
I think I'm giving today, man. My partner, Mr. Harder, behind me says also the same thing. But sooner or later, the Tigers have to be the Tigers. We have to. Like, come on, man. We have to.
All right. Yeah, all right.
Give those points.
You say that.
Now,
you
holler
say
back
that.
at your
Monday. I believe when I see it.
This is Murray State. I believe Murray, unless Ja has a price on Penny Head. You think Ja puts the money on Penny Head? NIL? Go get them, fellas.
Hey, who knows? Penny's made a lot of problems.
I just can't. I don't understand. That's a lot of points, man. I mean, that's
Penny
a
Passner.
lot of points.
I'm with him.
Oh man,
I get, but I mean, Memphis should do it. I mean, if you look at Murray State right now, they are pretty well regarded in terms of their rankings and all that stuff, the power rankings. Everybody's got them in decent enough shape. But if you look at their actual schedule and who they've played, really haven't played anybody of major import. So you're not talking about a team that's like super fantastic. They're 97th in KenPom right now, 58th in Bart Torvik, and they've played Cumberland, Bellarmine, Illinois State. They lost to East Tennessee State on a neutral floor. They beat Long Beach State. James Madison they did beat, as John Gasway talked about earlier in the week, and James Madison beat Virginia, so maybe there's something there. They beat some team called Harrodsburg, which I've never even heard of. So they've not played a whole lot of people. So the numbers are a little bit deceptive. They did play Middle Tennessee over the weekend and beat them, but it was not a overwhelming victory. The thing that they do, they score points. They are a really good offensive team. And they can get very hot. They've scored 93, 98, 109 in some of these games. If they get rolling, they can really get hot. Tevin Brown is a big time player. Like that dude can play. He's a pro. KJ Williams, very solid. They got a good group. Memphis should win this game, but they probably should have won the last two also. So that's should win can only take you so far. Anthony's saying.
Yeah, I think Memphis is going to win, but I don't think they're going to win run by 10 plus.
You don't think they're running away with this?
No.
So you're taking Murray State plus 10.5.
Give me that.
Asking you.
Yeah, for sure.
Murray State is I think a plus 400 on the money line as well. So
I'll be sure to let you know you're wrong Monday, Dr. Sane.
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, I'd never be mad. I'd never be mad about the Tigers.
Or you
can
sit in the suite with me tomorrow, and I can let you know.
Oh yeah.
Again, at this point in time, the thing is, if you're a Tiger fan, I get where you're what you're thinking about and all that stuff. Like I understand your confidence and you're a fan and all that, but I there's no evidence yet. I need to wait till I actually see some evidence on the court of progress. It's a show me kind of thing. You got to show me that the progress is made. Like I can hear the talk about, there was some talk yesterday about a reset of, okay, we're resetting everything. I mean, you can only reset so many times. You can only do so many things like that. It just doesn't work anymore. And I feel like they've already had at least one reset, right?
Yeah. How many we gonna have?
How many resets do you need?
However many I need to get to the Sweet 16, I'll take it.
I'm not saying get to the tournament first. Then worry about
the tournament. Sweet 16.
Back-to-back NIT.
Man, I'm so out on these dudes, but I don't have any confidence in them, man. I'm sorry, bro. I hate to be negative, but
I'm with you. I don't know how anyone could have.
How can you not? How can you
confidence in them?
What's happened? What's changed between now and? You had a coach saying some of the wildest stuff is going on with this team. That doesn't fix itself. Just hey guys, let's go to Showbiz Pizza and no man, it takes a while to get
pizza
past
though. That would be fun.
Showbiz would do it for me. I ain't gonna lie.
You got
where a kid can be a kid.
That big gorilla dude that's singing and all that stuff, and the what's the Starfire Explosion, the band that was the animatronic dudes. Yeah,
they play once an hour at the top of the hour. Baby, better catch them.
Oh, one of the great videos of all time is somebody who bought one of those from a showbiz that was going out of business and they're just selling off their stuff. He bought the Rockafire Explosion and programmed it to do it was I think it was a Love in the Club by Usher. He had them singing and they were it was actually singing it and it was incredible. Look that up. It was phenomenal. I would love to have that kind of money to just be able to put that up randomly in my house and program it to do weird sounds. That'd be tremendous. All right, so we got to get out of here. Coming up next, of course, it is our good friend Brett Norsworthy. It is Gabe Kuhn. It is Sports Time all the way to 6 o'clock. Everybody be safe. Some weather coming in tonight. Everybody be careful as you're out there. Enjoy an unseasonably warm afternoon, and it won't be that way for too much longer. And y'all be safe. We'll talk to you.
I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and I'm with you, Mallory, and we're both with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors. Well, a lot of people think about buying or selling a home being as much fun as having root canal. We can tell you that if you go about it the right way, it's like winning the lottery.
That's right, Sheldon. If you prepare prior to your home search or home sale, which includes using us as your agents, you'll feel like you've accomplished every objective you set out to attain, and you've won the lottery.
If you value experience and knowledge and rely upon those that can guide you to a successful conclusion, there's no better call to make than to us. Even after talking to 2 to 3 other real estate brokers, most people come back to us because their friends have told them that when you want the job done, call Shell Done.
Or Mallory Moves Memphis in whatever part of town you're in.
Call or email me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.